Now we are live. Can you see?
I don't know. Okay, I'll try. No, I don't. It's not live on the. I mean, it's live for me, but it's not live on the YouTube link that we shared.
Just 1 second, sir. Just check.
Okay.
Is it live? Is it live, Nitin?
Okay. 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 It's live.
Now we can start.
Sure.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today we have Nitin Mathur sir with us for the topic when to intervene, when to trust, the ethical dilemma. Before beginning our session, let's have an introduction of the sir. Nitin Mathur sir is a senior technology executive with over 28 years of experience leading AI, data clouding, transformation program across financial services, insurance, retail, telecommunication, and government sector. He is currently serves as Associate Vice President at Data Platform Cloud Engineering at Definity Financial, where he has given large-scale AI and cloud adoption initiatives, including a full migration to Google Cloud in just 10 months. His expertise span over the generative AI platforms, enterprises, data strategy, cloud optimization, and building AI factories that deliver use cases at large scale. Over his career, he has also held the senior leadership position at Bank of Montreal, Sun Life Financial, Scotia Bank, and also the data lakes, big data centers of excellence, and advanced analytical platforms. Nitin sir is also a recognized speaker at international forums, including Google Next, AWS Financial Services Forum, CDO Summit, sharing insights on AI, cloud, and ethics. With his unique combination of technical depth and strategic leadership, he brings a rich industry perspective to this program. Thank you, sir, for joining us today.
No, thanks for having me, and thanks for such a warm introduction. 20 years, it seems like I'm an old guy now, but no, hopefully I'm not. But thank you, and it's such a great topic that you guys have put forward. I think it's something that we all should, whether we're in technology, whether we're not in technology, I think we all should really talk about it because AI is becoming part and parcel of our life. Can you guys hear me okay? Just want to do a quick check as well. So are you guys okay to hear me? Can you see me? Is all okay? Give me thumbs up or okay.
Yes, sir. Can you?
Okay. Okay. No, I think it's a great thing that you guys are doing, and I'm glad to be here. I'm dialing from Toronto, Canada, so definitely bear with me. It's past midnight here. It's 12:18 a.m. in the morning or night, whatever you want to call. But it's still I'm so if I start sleeping or something, then do help me here. Ask questions. That's the only way I will be awake. So with that, I will basically, let's see if I can share the presentation. Hopefully technology works. All right. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Somebody give me a thumbs up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So let me just briefly explain where I work, what is this company about, and a little bit of what my life is day to day is. So Definity is an insurance company. It's a PNC insurance company, which basically do insurance for the homes in Canada, your autos, both personal as well as commercial. And we operate across the country. We're a 150-year-old organization. We do personal lines, we do commercial property, and we operate across Canada. We are, Ontario, where I live, is the biggest province, also equivalent to state in Canada. That's where I think majority of our business comes. And then we also operate in other line of businesses as well. We are the sixth largest Canadian insurance company in Canada, approximately 4,000 to 3,500 employees. We have offices across Canada. And we are also very, very passionate when it comes to technology. We got a lot of awards for our digital platform, we are pioneering AI as well. We are a well-recognized brand in Canada. One of the interesting thing which actually I learned, which was an eye-opener for me, that we get businesses through a broker channel. So broker channel is where you call an agent and get the insurance, right? That's one channel we use. And the other channel we use is mostly an online. You can actually go through online. We have a brand called Sonnet brand, which is a very popular brand as well. But you can buy your insurance through online, or you can buy insurance through calling an agent, which we call broker here. And I couldn't believe that most of our business still in this modern age come from broker channels as opposed to coming from the online channel. Where I think which is basically all about trust. And the reason I'm bringing it about is because people still have trust in human in relationships and things like that, as opposed to online. Of course, we do see that the trend will change with the new generation coming. They wanted to go more online as opposed to going to.
So sorry to come in here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
If you're changing slides, we can't see that because we're still stuck on the PowerPoint window. It's not on slideshow mode for us.
Oh, okay. It's not in slideshow mode for you. Okay, perfect. Thanks for letting me know. Is it better?
Yes, yes.
Is it better now?
Thanks. Can we change the slide one so that we can see we're still on the Definity is a leading Canadian PNC? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. Thank you.
I change the slide. Is it moving?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, and this is what our company is all about. We recently also went for a public company 2 years ago. We also recently buy another brand called Travelers, which is another brand. So a lot of merger and acquisition is also happening in our organization. And as in my day-to-day life, I manage the AI factory that has been set up for the organization, where we're leading all the AI initiatives within the organization. Also, I'm responsible for data and cloud platform, and also for cloud engineering, as well as other platforms like ServiceNow and RPA. So today's topic. So it's an interesting topic. When should we trust AI, and when we should actually intervene the AI? And I think human civilization, we have trouble trusting anybody, right? We have troubles. We use our own framework to trust somebody, and we have our own framework, our own biases not to trust anybody, right? When the child is born, the child trusts his own mother. He doesn't trust anybody else. So the trust is such a fabric of our day-to-day living, and we're living in a cross section in our life where we are now being asked to trust the technology. So it's an interesting intersection that we are all going through. So would you trust an AI when you're driving a car in the night in the rain? I do not know whether somebody will trust in your vehicle to drive in a heavy rain scenario. Maybe, maybe not, right? But if I'm creating, let's say, a summary of 2,200-page document on an annual report, right? Probably that's a scenario I may be okay to trust AI when I'm actually just creating a summary of the document, right? So maybe that's an area I can trust. There could be certain areas I would not trust. Will you trust an AI if you've been diagnosed for a cancer? You may still want to have an opinion of a doctor or somebody who's expert, rather than trusting a technology to say you're a cancer patient or not a cancer patient. So there are, of course, scenarios where you will trust technology. There are scenarios where you will not trust the technology, right? So, and that's we're going to talk a lot about. So what I wanted to talk and cover today is what is AI promise? Where is AI actually, AI, what AI actually has to offer, and what are the promises AI has to make in the real world scenario? And what are the situations and scenarios when the trust for the AI absolutely fails? And then it's an interesting intersection how we bring human and AI to work in collaboration together, right? And then we'll talk about what the responsible AI really means, what the trust framework is, and how do we move forward. Any questions so far on the agenda or things that we wanted to cover next hour, hour and a half? We good so far?
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Okay. So let's talk why we trust AI. So this is an important thing, that what AI has to promise. Why should we even trust AI? So the reason we trust AI is because of the efficiency and scale. This is very fundamental, because AI, the technology in AI, it can process vast amount of data in seconds. We human beings are good at certain things, but we absolutely cannot process large amount of data at scale in seconds. We cannot. If I say 2 plus 2, 4 is great, but then if I say such a large number multiply with such a large number, probably will fail, right? So we cannot process vast amount of data at scale. That is, we cannot summarize a 5,000-page document in 5 minutes. It's impossible, right? It's not possible. We are free from biases. We don't have biases. So the technology doesn't have biases built in. Of course, we'll talk about bias with AI, but by and large, technology is not biased. It doesn't get fatigued, right? Like, I am tired at this point in time, but think about if an AI agent robot is sitting here, it'll not talk about, it'll be a better presenter whether it's talking in the morning or within the night. It'll be the same quality will come out of it. Me, maybe a better speaker in the morning, may not be so better speaker in the nighttime, right? So we human have fatigue, but the technology doesn't have fatigue. It's free from that. And the and the outcome is very predictable. So technology always have a very predictable outcome, and the trends and outcomes are very predictable. We humans have other things, other factors as well, right? I may have a better output on a good day. I may have a bad output in the same, on a bad day. So then that's where I think AI probably is more predictable. And they have a superhuman abilities as well. They can perform human tasks that we talked about beyond human capabilities. So these are some of why AI thrives, what is AI powerful. And AI, by the way, is not a new technology. We are talking about AI. I'm so passionate about, like, when I went to school, I actually had a subject called AI back in time then also. And I've moved countries, I've moved cities, but one of the book, which actually I even have today, is AI. I have to pay the cost to travel every time, but one of the books I couldn't throw away is the AI book, right? Because I know that I'm so passionate about things. But AI is becoming more powerful because the reason is because the computer are better, the models are better, and the economy of scale is coming. And that's why I think probably the AI technology, we talk more these days, because of it's becoming so affordable and cheap and easily accessible. But AI itself is not a new technology. But so moving on, I mean, we have tons and tons of examples where AI actually solving complex problems. So just to name the few, I think AI actually has been proven to detect 99% with an accuracy for when it comes to certain type of cancer, especially the breast cancer. The accuracy is so high that it can predict it. Autonomous vehicle. I have been driving autonomous vehicle for last 5 years. I own a Tesla, and it's not that Tesla is the best EV car. There are better cars than probably Tesla today, but still today Tesla has the most advanced AI technology that you can drive with trust on the road. And that's why I think probably Tesla still is a far ahead than any other car, and when it comes to the autonomous driving, right? So, and that's a live breathing example for an AI in action. Algorithm trading, right? So when you're on the trading floor, you have to make millions and millions of decisions on a flash of a second. And I think algorithm trading is really becoming popular, where I think they are able to make better, faster decisions as opposed to human making decisions. We are an insurance company, right? There are insurance companies who can process your claims within 3 minutes. So think about a situation you're in an accident, you file your claim, you have property has been damaged. And whenever we have to give money, it takes time, and we need to make sure you file your claim. We need to make sure that all the documents are there. There's no fraud there. Nobody is doing. You have to go through the process. Tons of reports has to become. But let's think about, you do the filing and the money is in the hand in 3 minutes. That's something to be think about it. So yeah, I mean, there are organizations, there are insurance companies who can process the claims, your money in your hand in 3 minutes. That's great, right? Dynamic pricing. You and I live dynamic pricing every day. Whether you're booking your hotel, whether you're booking your flights, there's dynamic pricing, right? So you wanted to, firsthand. Everybody has the experience. I have to book a flight. If I see a price in the morning, if it's a flight from New Delhi to New York, it's a popular flight. Price changes every hour. If I don't make a decision, then probably have to find a ways to find another computer or things like that, because the dynamic pricing, the pricing changes every hour. So that's behind the scene is what is it's AI actually doing the magic, right? To find the dynamic pricing. I work for banks, I work for insurance companies, it's a regulated industry, and there's a lot of frauds that is happening, right? So, but AI definitely is there. There's number one use case in our financial sector where we use AI to detect modern day frauds. Equipment failures. I mean, GE, every other company uses today in terms of finding out AI for preventive maintenance, right? They are, large industries. Everybody is, using AI to actually predict when this machine, this engine, this things will fail. Not only they can predict, they will actually do a behind the scene. They will check your inventory, whether the part is there in time for you. When can I schedule the maintenance? What are the implications of, shutting down this machine or things like that? All these things, coming together is, at the end of the day, there are, AI behind the scenes that is running. Government, right? Government, for example, building Dubai, Singapore, I think these are known for smart cities where actually they are doing all the traffic management, permit processing, all the optimizations of the utilities. The government is using heavily the AI. I was reading an article, I think in India also, AI-driven text fraud has reduced the leakage by 30% on all. So these are some of very powerful real-world examples where there's a trust in AI and people are using AI in their day-to-day life. We are using AI every day too, like everything, every time you're using ChatGPT. Not only government are using, businesses are using. Today, you are using AI in every single day, in your day-to-day life as well. So AI is everywhere and is doing the, solving real-world problems and helping the society as well. But then there's always a darker side of the moon as well. There's a brighter side of the moon, there's a darker side of the moon. Everything comes with pros and cons. So let's dive into and understand when AI fails, when we do not trust AI, right? Real world problems as well. You don't trust, it's hard to trust today, like this image or this voice is even real or not. I mean, we have problems every day in our real life too, right? It's very hard to even tell which picture is real, which picture is fake. Nobody has an idea, right? So let's dive into some of the fundamentals why the AI trust fail. Where does the AI trust fail? So one of the concept is bias. So bias is where the model of the technology has certain biases to certain situations. So, and why the biases comes, because when we take computer science, day one, the concept is garbage in, garbage out. If you throw a bad data to the model or to the technology, the output would be also be bad. So AI is as good as the training data. If your data is bad, your output would be bad. So some of the real life situations where things have been, the biases have been noticed. So way back in North America, when we had the facial recognition technology being built, in the facial recognition technology, they normally supply the data which was, didn't capture all the ethnicity, all the facial recognition, the skin tone, and everything. So when they put the model, when they put the technology in the real life situations, there's a lot of ethnicity around, even in North America. There's a lot of people, the technology didn't work. And then when we backtracked why didn't it work, because the data that was provided for facial recognition didn't factor in all the skin tones or all the facial recognitions that happens, because the data was basically, it was not intended, but the data didn't capture all the parameters. Another very popular example where Amazon, who started using AI for recruiting, right? So just to understand how they can do it, they have to actually bring it down, that AI tool or the recruiting mechanism. The reason was because in the technologies primarily was dominated by men, and the data that was provided to the model was pretty much, for decades of data that was provided was men based. So what used to happen is, the minute the model used to see gender as woman, or then it used to think, oh, this I don't have this, and it means, that's probably not the right candidate. So just because of the gender, it used to reject it, and they actually have to bring down that technology, that recruiting model completely. They have to fine tune it. So these are two great examples, and there's more and more, where because of the bad data, there was a bias in the system, and then the technology didn't work. So that's key to understand, that we need to make sure that the technology is free from biases. Another area where the technology fail is what we call it the black box problem. So black box problem is basically meaning when I can't explain why this didn't work. So for example, John went and his loan is not approved, right? And the bank manager cannot explain that why my loan was not approved, right? So another person who has similar financial situation, every other parameters, his loan get approved, and the other person loan didn't get approved. So, and if the technology cannot explain, then that's a black box problem. Another example is, like for example, my own example of a self-driving car. I would say technology is getting better and better, but 99%, 95%, it really works. But then there are situations where I have experienced my first hand that car will not stop on a traffic light, right? And or it basically will not move when the light is green. And I can explain why it did happen, because it's working fine. But there are certain times it just stopped working, and there's no way you can explain why it's working or why is it not working. So those are what we define as the black box problem, when the technology cannot explain why it worked for certain situation, why it's not working for similar situation the next time. So the other reason when the technology fails is around what we call a concept of data drift, right? So data drift is basically meaning that when you train the technology on certain data sets, you train in the moment, right? You train it as of today or as of whatever date, and then you release the technology in the market, and it basically, if there's no training being done on the model, when we say training, is basically giving the data and training the model. But if it may not be prepared for edge case situations. A great example is, let's say you train the model you for an online shopping, and let's say COVID hit. And when the COVID hit, what happened during the COVID? Our pricing behavior start, our shopping behavior change, our traveling pattern change. And if the AI was being used, the models will fail, because model was never planned for that. The online shopping will surge during the COVID, and the models were not prepared or didn't have the situations for that, right? So in those situations, 9/11 happened, right? If these are events that were external events were never factored in, right? 9/11 happened or an earthquake happened in a country, the stock market may go down and things like that, and the model is not aware of those situations, then of course, the outcome will not be the same, right? Another example is in the fraud, right, where we live and breathe every day. So if I know in the model the pitfalls, if I know where the problem is in the model, like if example, I know where in which scenarios model will actually not work, and I, as a bad guy, figure it out when the model is going to fail, then I can actually cheat the model, right? Now, so the basically what we call it the data drift, because those situations, those parameters, technology is not aware of it, and that it will basically, the output will not come what we want to. So the key, we'll talk about it, how to solve that problem, but this is another area why technology will fail. The other key parameter is security. So I think when you're using the technology for innovation or in a lab, I think security may or may not be so important, but in a real life situation, making sure that the technology, when we're deploying the technology, it's properly secure. That's only, I think, when the enterprise will drive it. As I said, in today's modern world, the AI is not only available to corporates, to universities, to everybody, it's actually is available to everybody. So even the bad guys who have wrong intentions, they actually have the access to the same technology at the same time. So they are actually working as hard as well to make use of it for different reasons. So the reason you don't trust AI is probably another reason where the problem happens is around security. So today, in my example, as I was saying, we do not know whether this picture is a real picture or is a fake picture. We do not know. People in our industry use AI to submit the receipts on a claim, right? We do not know whether it's a real receipt, because that receipt itself is generated by the technology. So irony is, I may be getting a claim which probably somebody may have created a receipt, right, using the AI technology, and I'm now using an AI technology to figure out whether it's a real receipt or not a real receipt. So that's the paradox we really live in. And then another example is, like, for example, in the autonomous vehicle, if I put up a tape, let's say on a speed sign, then technology cannot really figure it out whether it's 100 kilometers an hour or it is something else. And if that's a problem, then I think the vehicle will start driving beyond 100 kilometers an hour. So all these are some of the real examples where actually technology stops and the trust on the technology fails. Any questions so far? All right.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Very clear.
okay. So I think also this is another important thing. As the technology is getting evolved, we use AI in different, in different form and shape. We use AI as a tool, which is, as an example, if you're using an AI tool to convert text into speech and things like that, the outcome is fully in control of a human being, right? So you're using to write an email or to prepare a presentation, then we're using AI as a tool just for advantage, right? That's one way to look at it. If the another way to use AI is a collaborator. So if you're basically using AI to help with the decision making. So in my previous example, let's say AI is helping us to detect whether we have a disease or not. But at the end of the day, there's still a final outcome is based in the hands of a doctor who has gone through the training and education and everything. It will be his final call to make a decision whether it's a disease or not. But he's using AI to basically make that decision. And then there are other examples, extreme examples too, where there's a minimum oversight required, and we are letting the technology make the decision. So in my example, for example, if I'm using AI in my car, I absolutely hands-free. I let the technology decide when to change the lane, when to stop, when not to stop. So this is an extreme example where we are letting the AI to make every decision. So the different level of autonomy that we actually give, we trust AI at different level in terms of when to let the technology make the decision or when we make the decision. So moving on, I think we talked about when to trust AI, when not to trust AI. But then I think the I think we should also be aware of what are some of the red flags and what are some things that we can start trusting the technology. So if the transparency is there, so the trust factor will come. If there's a transparency that we can understand, then the trust factor will come. If I know that technology can explain it to me why certain things is behaving a certain way, why my loan was rejected, then if I know why my loan was rejected and my friend's loan was passed, and if technology can say, yeah, loan was rejected because you make the same income as your friend and all, but you may have more loans, right? So that could be, yeah.
Sir, there's a question in the chat box by Satyendra Pal Singh.
Okay.
Can you see
What's
that?
the question?
Question is how to use AI tools ethically and with trust in research paper writing.
Okay. How to use AI trust in AI tools ethically and trust in research writing paper. So I would say that's a great question, by the way. So today, I think the way people are using, like before, for example, I've stopped using Google search at all, right? I don't go to Google search. We normally use Gemini, ChatGPT, some sort of a model to do the research. So if the tool, it's a great question, it's perfectly in line with what we're trying to convey here. So if the tool, if example you're using ChatGPT, just for it, right? So if the tool can explain to you that where the source of information is coming, right? It can explain to you, why it is saying certain things in certain way, then probably you can trust it. So, and I think these days, new models, Gemini models, and all those models, they're actually talking about transparency. So, if the model a year ago didn't use to explain the source of information, but today, if you use it, you can actually find out the source of the information. So if the model itself is telling you where the source of the information is, then yes, you can use ethically, to do the research, because research is always based on certain facts and things like that. So that's where I would probably say ethically you can use it. If AI doesn't explain it to you, you do not know the source of the information, then I would not use it, because I do not know that it is somebody's imagination or somebody's thought, then probably I would not use it. There's another concept called grounded search. So grounding means you're absolutely saying, I wanted to search. The another way to look at from this source of information. So, for example, you say, I wanted to use the search based on the data that is available at MNIT, right? I'm making it up, but that's a trusted source to me. So I can actually feed all the books that are available to me. And my search is only limited to the data set that I'm actually grounded to. And that's called grounded search as well. So that probably would be my guidance when to use it ethically and when not to use it in writing a research paper.
So, Edit, I have a question to it. Like, if I ask ChatGPT and it generates some information, and there is a source mentioned, and I go to that source, say some report, it's an archival report. So, but might not be available at the moment when I'm accessing, but it says that it is authentic, it is citing it. So, how to use that data or not to use that data?
No, if it is cited, and then you should definitely check the source. And if the source is not right, then I would not use it. Absolutely, I will not use it. But if the cited source is searchable, you can go through it, then definitely you should use it. But again, that's what we use all the trust but verify. This is an important thing. So trust but verify. So you trust it, then you should definitely go and verify the source of the information.
Thank you, sir. That's it.
So if there, let's say moving on. So I mean, that was a great question in terms of transparency. So we need to know, where this information is coming up. The other thing to trust is around the accountability. At the end of the day, somebody has to be accountable for it, right? Whether the organization is something goes wrong, then is the organization putting a team member accountable for it? Is the board member accountable for it? Is the technology accountable for it? But somebody has to be accountable for the mistake, right? So today, example for autonomous driving, I mean, I trust it, I do it, but if God forbid if something happens, Elon Musk is not taking the accountability for it, right? The insurance companies are not taking account. I'm actually still accountable for the driver, and that's why even it's an autonomous car and it has made my life really, really simple. It has made I mean, I do not know how I can drive without an autonomous car today in my life, but I'm still accountable for it. I'm still absolutely accountable for it until and unless somebody says, the insurance company can be accountable for it or the manufacturer can be accountable for it. Until that happens, you're still accountable for it, right? We have been so still, when we fly, we know the pilots are not looking at this is an autopilot, but would you fly right without the pilot being on the plane with this new human being, right? So probably not, right? But there could be a day where actually we may once we know who's accountable for it, if we know if the airline is accountable for it, then maybe you'll trust. Okay, something happens, I'm going to sue the airline. But until that doesn't happen, we need to know the accountability.
Dr. Sudesh has raised his hand. I
Uh,
think he has to say that.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. It was very nicely you have explained how this the usefulness of artificial intelligence. But I am having one particular query. Like suppose we are writing the review literatures. Okay, so we have actually collected many articles, and from that actually we have written the review literatures, and we are actually giving it to the ChatGPT to modify it if anywhere actually it is required. So in that case, in some sentence, it basically modifies and with some better words and appropriate words. So will that basically will be captured in the Tonitine and all?
It
As
will
a
be captured.
plagiarism?
Come again?
No, will it be actually, the part of the plagiarism? It will be actually taking it from.
No, so I think it depends. So, for example, in your example, what you're saying is you are using ChatGPT to summarize it for you, right? So to help you write. So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I don't think it's a plagiarism, right? It would be if you basically, if actually you use my work without declaring that that you have taken it my work and you're using it, that probably is not right. But if you're
Yeah.
using ChatGPT, if you're using ChatGPT to help you to write, right? So for example, it's no different than you're asking somebody to do a peer review. So for example, if I'm writing a thesis, right, I know there's a process that you take help from your professor, from your friends, your things like that, to help you to refine it, right? To make sure there's no grammatical mistake or it reads better. So that
Yes.
probably is okay. So instead of taking help from a friend or your colleagues or your professors or whatever, you're taking help from the technology to write it better. To me, that's fine because at the end of the day, you're taking AI tool as a help. You're using taking to you are not asking ChatGPT to write. If you're asking ChatGPT to write and then you're not accountable for it, and you basically say, ChatGPT, I give you the source, write a thesis document, and automatically even submit it, and you're just sleeping, right? And you've not done anything to it, that probably is unethical. Because you have used the technology to do everything automated. You just say, okay, do a research for me, write a thesis for it, and submit it, and all you're doing is having a vacation somewhere, and it's automatically gone and submitted for you, then you're accountable for it. And something is not right, then I think you're unethical. And because the outcome, the presentation is basically when you're submitting your thesis, your name goes on it. So you cannot tomorrow say, "Oh, don't blame me. Go and sue ChatGPT owner because he submitted it and not me." Then if your name is there, you better be responsible for it, right?
Okay.
Batra?
Thank you.
Batra?
Thank you. Yes, madam.
Yes.
Namaste.
Okay. Thanks, Nitin. You have tried to clarify, but I would like to add something more. What he was asking about, like there is
Yes.
a Turnitin similarity check. So I just want to share. See, there is provision in Turnitin software also to
Yes.
detect AI writing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they will give a lot of things regarding that it is looking AI, but sometimes it is not exactly, because you will be wondering like how it is coming AI when we have ourselves written. So there
Yes.
is many things like false positive or false negative. So you yourself has to be like very sure whether you are like writing yourself or like you have taken complete help of things. So
True.
AI is there only to support and give you idea, right? So unfortunately, many people are using AI content as it is. So that is the issue. And you know it, that we can easily make out whether it is AI written or it is.
Yes. True.
So that's still.
Use as an assistance. I think what we're saying collectively is use it as an assist, as a guide, as a friend, but not copy pasted, right?
So that's the, and in India especially, there is no AI policy in education till now. Soon, when we'll have a policy, then accordingly we have to see how to control it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I
So
also have a
yeah.
question.
Go ahead.
What question is it?
I
Oh, there another
already-
question? Yeah, go ahead. What's the question? One second, let me.
No, I'm asking the questions. Am I audible?
Yeah, you have. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So my question is slightly different from what we were just discussing. It's not based on research, but from a more broader perspective, since we are discussing human and AI interaction model. So I just remembered that recently, there was some couple somewhere who were trying to sue ChatGPT over, some kind of illegitimate or some unethical advice that it gave to their children, and he ended up coming a suicide. From a technology, you're a technology company, and of course, I understand it's a gray area, but from a technology company standpoint, how do we see this issue, and what is the ethicality involved in this?
That's a great question, and probably I do wanted to touch on it in the presentation, but since you brought it up, I think that's where the role there's a lot of roles has to be played, right? To Manjula's this point, there's no regulations there, right now, right? There's certain countries like UK, not UK, EU and China probably are far more ahead as compared to, I would argue US in India, right? So, there has to be work done on both sides. The work has to be done both on the government side, on the governance and things like that, as well as from the technology side as well. I mean, they have to make it clear that do not trust, like they have to remember that smoking is dangerous and things like that. AI, absolutely, they write it in fine print, right? Like there's example, like a smoking logo, nobody reads it. So nobody's saying AI should be used to make a decision. Absolutely not, right? The industry has to do a better job to make sure that common person understands it, as well as the government and all has to do a better job in terms of going after that, right? Because today, if they do bad, there's no legislation today. There's nothing to put them behind or make them accountable. So that's why people don't use it. So work has to be done on both sides, and there's a lot of work to be done there to answer your question. But I think, I firmly believe these are very important things. And because AI is the speed of the technology and the speed of adoption that is happening in the speed, we are nowhere even close in terms of addressing some of the things that you are raising, right? And because AI is in the hands of every single person today, every single person, whether you're educated or not educated, because if you're using a smartphone, you're using everything, right? So, but the problem is we as a society and as a government are far behind in terms of catching up to it, right? And it is full of danger. It is really full of danger, right? Because to your point, people just use it because, oh, technology told me, I did it, but there's no accountability to that. And it's definitely a sad part of it, but there's a lot of work to be done there. Yeah, and so I think at the end of the day, I would not be surprised, and hope politicians and things like that wake up, and because AI literacy is something that has to be done very, very quickly. I mean, we're talking about financial literacy. I never had the course in financial literacy, right? I manage finance for my company, but I do not know how to manage my own finances. I'm honest about it, right? But there's no financial literacy. We just caught up into teaching, other subjects and things like that, which are commercially land us into a job and things like that. But the AI literacy should get to in kindergarten, to be honest with you, right? I mean, but when that day will come, how fast that will come, I do not know. But that goes back to a lot of work to be done there. You guys are educators and probably take it up, but there's a lot to be done there. Any other question, or we can continue?
No, sir.
All right, so I think these are this is a good way to I think some of the questions you guys are raising. So the trust will come when there's a transparency, when there's an accountability, and there's a fairness, right? I mean, everybody has to be treated fairly, because a lot of models, whether it's gender bias, and I mean, in the case study that I have shared after the session, it'll touch on some of those things where the fairness has to be there, right? It should not, it should behave the same way for all the ethnicity, rich, poor, the different dimensions to it, but it has to be fair. And we should watch for, to your earlier question, we should basically watch for some red flags as well, right? So the red flags meaning if the output is not explainable, if there's no confidence in the data, or if it doesn't simulate the real life situations. For example, if AI is telling you it's sunny outside, and it's warm, and you can see with your eyes, oh, it's raining, it's snowing, and it's cold, would you not take an umbrella? You will take an umbrella, because the real life situation is different, right? Than what is happening. And I think if there are any ethical conflicts that is happening, you should basically use your human judgment. So these are some of the red flags I would say, and you should always watch for. And then I think use HI over AI. Does anybody know what HI is?
Yes, sir. Human intelligence.
Human intelligence. You got it. So yeah, and I think we have strengths. So humans have strengths. So technology, so for example, emotional intelligence. I think emotional intelligence, technology will never have it. I don't see. Yeah, I can't dream of technology will have any human intelligence. So human intelligence is definitely, we understand ethics, we understand morality. Humans have been creative and innovative. That's why today where we are than our ancestors was, because innovation and creativity is that's what we got us here as a society as a whole. And we are good at solving complex problems. But where we are not good at is, and technology is there, and we touched on in different things, is speed and efficiency, right? We can be efficient, speed. We can do repetitive tasks very good. I mean, if things are repetitive, we are not good at it. We are not 24/7 available, right? We all have to sleep, eat, blah, blah, blah. And I think sometimes, our precision is not the same all the time. So So I think with the merger of both the technology and human, I think that's where the best value will come out of it. How many of you think will AI take your jobs?
Definitely, sir, we have this dilemma.
Sorry?
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just asking, and how many of you think that AI will take your jobs or will not have jobs? How many of you think that'll happen or not happen?
We
Any
do face that
perspective?
dilemma.
Yeah.
We do think that.
But every day there is one new report which is saying like 5% of jobs will remain and rest will be replaced by the AI.
So my perspective is, I think AI, probably the chances of you not having a job or not being integrated is that if you're not, whether you're in technology or not in technology doesn't matter. I think AI will not replace humans for sure, but humans without AI will not be there, right? So, where I'm going with this is probably we all as a human should know the technology. We should imbibe it. But if you don't imbibe it, probably you'll be in more trouble. So chances of you not having a job is because you don't are not actually using the AI. That's where I think probably you'll fail. And I think if I have to draw a parallel to it, like 15 years ago, probably if I don't have if I leave my wallet at home, probably I have to come back to home because I can't eat, I can't travel, I can't do anything. But today, if I don't have a wallet at home, I don't come back as long as I have a smartphone. So today, you can't integrate into the society without a smartphone, right? That is part and parcel of it. If you do not know how to use a smartphone, probably you're in trouble. Even like we are good. Our generation survived the smartphone, but think about our parents and grandparents. They even need to have an iPhone with them. They need to be integrated with the iPhone as simple as to choose use the WhatsApp. Where I'm going with this, my is that probably in future, if you're not using AI, you'll be in more trouble than without using it. So I think we touched on these things. So what does a responsible AI means is that it has to be transparent. We've been talking about all about it. We should make sure that the human in the loop is very important. At the end of the day, human should always be in the loop to make sure some of the pitfalls that we talked about, whether it's a data drift or black box and things like that we just talked about, all these things are important that we have human in the loop all the time to make sure those pitfalls that we talked about the AI earlier is somebody's there to catch, right? We need to make sure there's regular audits that are happening to make sure that there's no biases happening. And at the end of the day, there has to be really clear accountability that who's actually responsible for AI if it makes a mistake. So this probably is a sort of a where some of the foundation things comes in terms of being for responsible AI. I think for the rest of the time we have together, I just wanted to walk you through a framework that I just thought about that to the topic. What are the situations where we are comfortable to trust AI, and what are the situations where we need to intervene with it? So if things are low risk, right? Then probably it's okay to trust AI, right? If the problem is well defined, if we have a right data sets, and I think if the risk is that the decisions are reversible and there's a continuous monitoring to it, then I think we're okay. For example, let's say I'm doing a marketing campaign. What if the AI actually did a wrong campaign for a particular postal code? What probably can go wrong? Probably not much, right? It's not end of the world, right? Or if you're using an AI to detect some spam emails, fine, it may have missed certain things, or it may have called a good email a bad email, vice versa. It's a low risk. It's not the end of the world. But let's say if if I'm using AI to determine my disease and it's a life and death situations or misdiagnosis, then probably it's a high risk. I mean, it's a high risk if I don't have a cancer and AI say I have a cancer and I'm getting treated the other way, then it's a problem, right? Or ethics and all are involved in it, right? Then probably are very high risk. The stakes are high. Then I probably and intervene into AI is absolutely important, right? So whenever stakes are high, things the output cannot be explained, then probably you will probably it's important thing to that we intervene with the AI. So that's probably one thing to consider in my framework as we go through. Second thing is in today, and this is evolving. Today, I think a lot of times it's very difficult to talk about the whether why this decision was made. But more and more, I think we're going to talk about it. And I looked at the agenda as well. I think there's a topic that you guys are covering around explainable AI, which is so explainable AI in short is basically when you can actually ask why certain decisions are made and why certain decisions are not made. Then I think that's where I think, as I said, a lot of tools, a lot of more, it's getting built in. So as long as we have explainable AI, then I think probably it's a good place, to trust an AI and not to intervene. I think if we're running the technology without the guardrails, then probably you need to intervene. But if there are proper guardrails, that guardrails could be in terms of what data we are using, the privacy things are considered, the hallucinations and things like that. Output is traceable, and I think there are input, output, all the proper guardrails are in place. Then probably you can trust and less intervene in that, right? And I think we talked earlier on this slide, the other area where we can trust AI and we should not, less, trust AI versus not trust AI is also the other dimension is around the regulatory body. So I think certain parts of the world, in especially in the EU and China, they are more on the right hand side. They are more regulated. There are more accountability and things like that has taken place that we have seen. US probably is emerging. It's kind of in between. India and UK probably are less regulated today, but I'm hoping that we will all start catching up. And I think so. If as a society we have regulations in place, legislation in place, I think probably there would be more trust that'll come in our life to start using the AI. So these are some of the frameworks I would say that we can use to say when ethically we can trust AI versus we should actually intervene. So maybe we can take 5 minutes to sort of reflect as a group, as an individual, and maybe we can think about one decision where you individually think, or as a group you think that you will never trust AI, right? Or where one situation where you can think, oh, I'm okay to trust AI, I have no problems, right? And also think about some sort of a workflow, like a loan approver, where you think about some scenario or some sort of a workflow in your life where you think, how would you design sort of a human in the loop situation? So if you guys are okay, we can sort of take a quick break here, like in the say at least break for me, but if you guys can spend 5 minutes just to think about it, and maybe we can reflect on it. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
We only have 1 more minute. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. We're just, the groups are still discussing, so if you could give us 2 or more minutes.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
So some of the groups are ready now. So here is
Okay, sure.
first group who will go up next. Please,
All right.
as we go past the groups, please introduce yourselves, participants. So first group here.
All right.
Good morning, sir. So,
Good morning.
I'm Rich Kumar, sir. I will be talking in a general sense, sir. When you said that what's one decision you would never trust AI with, and in its essential sense, anything that is immediate risk in real life time, it is not worth it to trust on AI. For the very basic limitations of it being that it is not multimodally and in localized way present in the absolute scenario. Like if a guy is having a knife to one's throat, there we do not need to consult AI for
So
a
give me an
decision making.
example. That's fine. We have a high risk. Give me an example. Like for example, what decision would you not trust AI on? Like give me in your perspective, where would you not use it? This is a situation that I will not use it. I'm looking for
Yes, sir.
and why.
So, sir, I just like I pointed out in a situation when a person is holding a knife to the throat of another person in an immediate real life situation, there we will not be trusting on AI's decision whether the context and everything is like we do not need to rely on its decision, because in the real life situation it may be a terrorist, it may be a innocent person, and I as
But
a
in this,
human.
but in this example that you're giving it to me, it's a physical thing, right? There's no technology in place. If I put a gun on your head, there's no technology, right? And there's no technology there. It's not you're taking you're using your phone to say, oh, is it a real gun or not, right? But what I'm looking for is more specific
Just to
example.
add on to that, so Bhadresh and I were in the same group. So his broad idea is about crisis management. So the way I see it, one illustration could be we see that healthcare space where a lot of AI is being used for diagnosis, but maybe in the ER, in the emergency room, using AI to
Correct.
diagnose, whether it is required or not, whether a particular kind of healthcare is required or not, that would not be good.
That's a great example, actually. That's a very great example because you're right. So, if example, if somebody comes to you that it's a non ER situation, yes, you can use AI. But yes, if it's an emergency situation, you're not going to use ER to find out. That's actually a great example. Great example. Very good example. Like where would you trust AI? So the another part is, can you give me an example where you feel I'm comfortable to use AI?
So we are the next group.
Sure.
So my name is Labhisha.
And my name is Shweta.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
So,
So
sir, in the one situation we will not trust AI is, I think, biometric surveillance is where we have to, like, privacy is the main concern.
So actually, there was this one reel of this woman who was talking about that so she basically had put a picture on AI to make a version of her, and then the picture that came up through AI showed a mole on her hand, and she said that the picture that she had put in the AI thing, usme the mole wasn't visible, and she actually really has a mole over here. So she was like very confused that how did AI know that the real her has a mole on her hand? And that like is very scary that pictures can be used later on for deepfakes, etc. And it can like enter dark web. So that is not something that we trust it with.
And sir, at the macro level, it's about surveillance for facial recognition in criminal setup. Like, so we can't trust AI in those setup for at the macro.
No, that's a great example too. I would never trust to put myself in a social world.
Ma'am, I
And
think to answer ma'am's question, if government is collecting biometric, they are accountable. But AI,
Yeah, there is.
There is loophole, but at least government के पास में जो भी मतलब उनके mechanisms होते होंगे उस चीज को वो करने के लिए कि data can't be leaked.
Recently, there was the Indian data being got leaked, and the US and the other Western countries have well used the data being used by the third
But
party.
it's a government is ever trouble में they are not.
They are creating a, they are trying to create a, like, restrictive methods to control it. But again, what are the methods being used by? These methods are mostly being created by the Western countries, and they know how to corrupt these methods, and they
But
can
like
create
facial
data.
recognition in like airports and all ये सब चीजें तो already.
No, that's very individualistic.
See, for crime control, if you are using this kind of height and this color, this weight, and they just want to match with the person in person. So there is all chances that they'll make some mistake. You cannot have exactly like on the weighing scale that this is the image and this is the person. So that way for crime scene, I think it is difficult. Although I think there must be some control over there. I don't know. In future, we'll be able to match exactly like in airport, you are saying, Vijay Yatra, you just go and cross the thing. So
One more example from where we are not trusting
Yeah, it's therapy definitely.
Yeah,
Because
for-
like it will echo our own thoughts and
It's like
tell us what
validate
we
us,
want to
yeah.
hear. So not trusting it at that.
And
And
areas where we will trust AI is like
some
mundane,
more mundane tasks, yes.
like for mailing someone or maybe
Calendar.
in video games we can use it.
And so data
Right.
cleaning and also through brainstorming, also we will trust it with those imaginative things. But we know that beyond matlab, the brainstorming it's doing with us is on the existing data. So with that in mind, we'll try to maybe understand what others are also thinking. And I'd like to see it from that perspective and not just like AI kind of generating an idea.
No, that's a great example. Both are good examples, and I agree. And I think I like your example of the video games. Is that's fine to use AI there, because it's there's no risk in it, right? There's a very low risk there. Any thoughts from the group who are online?
Good morning, sir. There is one more, the group discussion what we had. Sachin this side. Sir, according to our personal experience, what we have seen, people have started getting reliant on these AI methods. Like they do not have a physical friend, but they have a chatbots as a friend. They are using it and they try to share each and everything with them so that they can get a trustworthy answer, and they feel that is something like things which which can be kept as in privacy. But actually it is not happening, because we have seen that the one incident in US where the ChatGPT guy who has started chatting with the ChatGPT, and he got so much relied on that the ChatGPT has guided him to commit a suicide, right? So it was a kind of a nightmare for his family, like how kind of a AI has been. For people, it is kind of a trust they are creating to it, but on setbacks, they are coming back in the negative way. Similarly,
Sure.
from our personal experience, we see such ChatGPTs. We share the details. But if you give a prompt to the ChatGPT, for example, hey, if you can tell, like for example, if I just text to ChatGPT, can you tell me about me? Like for example, if you can tell about Sachin. So it will go to the previous history. It will going to tell you each and everything, whatever you have chat with it, whether it is private, whether it is whatever related to the studies or anything. It's going to give you a detail about it. So again, when we are doing, and we are doing this things through the electric, like whatever the gadgets we are with. So anytime when these gadgets are not with us, when being used by the other people, so whatever the data we have, it can be like I feel it can be leaked. So again, on those points, we cannot trust. These things. We have to be there with the humans when it comes to.
Absolutely, no, that's a great example for sure. Because I think you should use your common sense at the end of the day. All right, do we have more comments, or anybody else final
Ye-
comments?
Yes, I would also want to give a comment here. So, whenever we are talking about life and death situations, I feel human intervention seems to be a better idea, because the whole purpose is trying to serve humanity, isn't it?
Correct.
So, if human intervention is there, then we have chances of random errors are minimum, like in that
Right.
case. Yeah,
Right.
and wherever we need more assistance or we are looking for more possibilities or more ideas, in fact, even different perspectives, that time we can use AI for our help.
No, 100%. I can't agree more on it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Great
Yeah,
examples.
that's
Both are good examples.
right, sir. Thank you.
One more offline group.
Good morning, sir.
Sure.
I'm Nikita.
And Smriti Dadij.
So one issue which we face is that during the courts, we cannot rely on AIs for making the decisions. So like complete assist, it can be an assistance, but it cannot take the decisions. It can provide you the laws, the articles and acts, but the complete decision has to be relied on the human, the judge who is present in the court.
Yeah, considering the time it takes to analyze the reasons and solutions for the correct solution for by the court, it makes sense that a human interaction is a much better way.
As the AIs lack emotions and empathy. So the person who is present in the moment can decide very well.
No, that's great. I think you touched on, I think one of the case, I do not know whether that case study is today or for tomorrow. I don't know, but the case study that we have is actually around exactly on the legal system. So there's a case study that I'm going to share with you. I do not know if it's today or tomorrow, but actually touches on the legal system, how to make those decisions. But I think you're bang on. I think if the judges are replaced by AI, that's a danger. But if the judges are using it to, to do the research and understand the facts, that's great. But bang on. I like your thinking and use case. Good.
Yeah, in case of using AI for better enhancement, again, just like we cannot use it for legal purposes, but we can use it for assistance because AI, like other people also said, is very good at storing data. So it might
Correct.
help to figure out
Correct.
the evidences. Yeah.
Correct. Good. Anything else, or we can move on? All right, no. So thank you. I think these are some of the good examples. I'm glad that you guys are able to think to use AI when the risks are low, stakes are low, and basically have human in the loop in the thought process. So good examples. So yeah, I think let's to wrap up our presentation, what we can do together, right? So the people who are building the who are the builders of this technology, who are building applications, frameworks, blah blah blah, I think they should make sure that the ethical principles are followed from the beginning. This is definitely a key takeaway for anybody who's using it, to make sure they are using the right set of data, they are using the right guiding principles right from the start, right? The explainability is there, the transparency is there, the right data sets is there as you build this thing. For the leaders, I think you should foster an ethical responsibility. So I will give an example of my own organization. I think when we enable AI in our organization, we actually, every employee has to sign, has to go a small training, that's just to make sure that what responsible AI means. It was a mandatory training that everybody has to do. We have to make sure that we are still accountable for all the outcomes, so we never let the outcome get people walk away from the accountability. And I think for all of us, be critical user, ask questions, and demand for transparency. So to your question, if anybody is forcing you, if any way you go and you've been forced, let's say you go to a bank and they say, oh, AI made a decision for us, I can't explain. Demand for explanation, demand for transparency. So have that right to demand for it. So I think that's how I think path forward for all of us as a role to play, whether we're building or whether we're leading or whether we're actually using the technology. So just to wrap it up here, some of the key takeaway, AI is not foolproof. And I don't think AI will be foolproof ever, right? What we wanted to understand as we talk throughout our talk, to understand where AI is good at and where AI lacks, is absolutely critical. AI is a powerful tool, but it's just not foolproof. We all talked extensively about it, that I think we can trust AI for the low risk, and we should intervene and for anything with the high stake. The best result, the best of the best result, will come when AI and human work together. That probably is a best place to use this technology. I think that's pretty much will wrap up the presentation with the closing note that this ethical dilemma is actually not a problem to be solved. There's no problem, right, that we're trying to solve here. But I think it's a conversation that we should continue to have. So with that note, I'll probably wrap it up here. I think we are on the clock. Any questions we have, and then we can turn into the next chapter.
So we'll just be breaking here for tea for 10 to 15 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah. So I think for the next section, what do you want? Like I was thinking of sort of leading with. I've shared the use cases with Nidhi and Shweta here. So
Yes,
I'm
yes.
hoping that do you guys have any questions in terms of taking it from here?
After the brief, then those things can be taken care.
Sorry, you're breaking.
That's what I'm saying, like, when we will start again for the next session, will you be able to just guide everybody what to do, and then later they will take care of your.
Sure. Or can I do it now and then we can break? Is that okay? Sorry, I can't hear. No, I think your voice is muffled for me. I don't know if I have to come again, please. Okay. So there are there are two use cases that I have shared. So let me just briefly talk about those two use cases. Oh, 1 second. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, hi, I can hear you. Hello? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we'll regroup in 15 minutes.
Thank you. Online participants, please stay tuned. We're just going to break for 10-12 minutes and we'll be back after that.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.